job every day is to try to kick somebody's ass. I mean, that's why we're here.
That is caught! Left center! Reds win!
And this ball is launched. High and very deep to right, long gone. It's second of the night. Ellie De La Cruz.
Short lead for Pena. Larkin drills it. Do you believe this? That's going to be gone! Back to back! Walk-off home runs! How about this? Cameron is back! He's back! He's back!
And a swing and a drive! Deep left field! This one belongs to the Reds!
Swung on and hit
Deep to left field! That ball is going to be gone! Home run! And the Reds put it tied to 4!
Goes to second one. Around to first. Got a double play! And the Reds sweep the Cubs. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Way back there. And gone! Into the second deck and left. Christian Encarnacion Strand walks it off.
Archer does it! In his major league debut! He gets the final 3 outs, and the Reds get an extra inning win. A thriller 5-4.
Swung on, fly ball, hit to deep right field. That ball is gonna be gone. A grand slam home run by Mike Cameron.
2 outs, 2 on. Reds down by 1. Larkin down the line. This will win it. This will win it. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Steins. Larkin's won the game. Barry Larkin gets mobbed. Look at this scene. It's synergy.
The stretch, the pause and the pitch. And a line drive, base hit left center field. A single for Aaron Boone. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won 8 in a row.
Kobayashi with a long look, turns it loose, and
Gunn hits it to deep right. It's all over. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won their 5th game in a row. They've defeated the Cleveland Indians on an Adam Gunn 3-run home run, 4-2.
in on the corners at first and third. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Roy Green pitching, no bunt. Ground ball
By the third baseman into left field. Jay Bruce rounds third. And this one belongs to the Reds.
That's hit pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
with 1 out here in the 11th inning. You sure got to go now.
Swung on, pull down the left field line. That ball is going to get the winning run in. Here comes Jay Bruce rounding third, heading toward the plate. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Huge situation for Votto. Why you paying the big bucks to deliver the goods with 2 outs in the 9th inning? Can he do it? In the gap, right center field, and Votto delivers the goods.
Hit deep center field. Hank Hill going back at the warning track. Oh, he goes one. It's gone. Joey Votto is delivered.
Reds fans, what's going on? Welcome to the Chatterbox Reds pregame show. I'm Hunter Hurst. He's Max Alfonso. Max, how are we feeling as the Reds won the first 2 of 3 in Kansas City, going for the sweep tonight with Hunter Greene on the mound?
Yeah, I think the vibes are high right now. I mean, Ellie 2 homers last night. I think that second ball is still going. I don't believe it actually landed in the water. I think it's still going. Stevenson's hot. I mean, guys are hitting the ball well. Last 2 games have been fun, and even in the Cubs series, guys were hitting the ball well. That's a whole different story. That's a whole different story that we're not going to talk about. But it's been good these last 2 nights to have starters go deep and get some wins.
Yeah, I agree. And Mike and Ricky brought out the hats on Monday for Memorial Day, and shout out to Joe for noticing this perfectly fitting helmet that I got a bucket full of Skyline nachos in at Great American Ballpark. I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and I think the unsung hero of the current Reds resurgence is TJ Fredel, a guy who's kind of been sort of slept on a little bit in terms of Reds fans. Obviously, 4 straight multi-hit games. I think he's hitting 300 plus 300 in May, and the Reds still have an opportunity to finish this month with a winning record, as up and down as this month has been. Fredel has been phenomenal at the top of the lineup for the Reds. I don't think you can overstate how good that he has been, especially as of late. Have you seen anything different with Fredel than he was doing to start the year? Anything different in his approach than it has been in the past?
I don't have the numbers in front of me to back this up, but it feels just like the at bats are so much better. He's seeing a lot of pitches in the leadoff spot, and he's not afraid to walk right now either. He was always, he's always been a good contact hitter, but he was never, walking at a super high clip. But now it seems like that's up and seeing a lot of pitches, and that's what you want to see out of the guy leading off in your order.
Yeah, I agree. Career highs in walks, or he's the team leader in walks. I know it's a career high in walk rate. We'll get into the lineup here in a minute after the starting pitching matchup. But obviously, it's a great day to have Hunter Greene on the mound for the Cincinnati Reds. It feels like a massive sweep, obviously, but a very unexpected one coming off the Cubs series, bullpen explosion. But I definitely think being in the bigger ballpark has helped just with fly balls, hard hit balls, and the deep gaps that would be homers in Great American haven't been leaving in Kansas City. And that's why I'm on board with tearing down the worst arena in America in the Heritage Bank Center and moving back the fences about 30 feet at GABP. I don't know your thoughts on it, but the Reds are 7-1 in the three biggest ballparks they've played in this year. 2 out of 3 against the Giants, swept the Rockies at Coors, and now you've won the first 2 in Kansas City, and you got a shot to sweep. Obviously, they're not going to move the fences back, but it would be nice. It would be nice.
I enjoy watching, games at big fields like this and watching the Reds play. Seems like they're more built for this kind of ballpark. Great American, it's it's just such a weird park compared to a lot of other parks. It's so much smaller, and like you said, with the stupid arena out there and the boat and center, it's like how much can you really do to push back the walls? But I don't think that'll happen. But I agree. I think it would be nice. It's fun to watch them though in these big parks hit as well as they have.
Yeah, and Hunter Greene's going to pitch in that big ballpark tonight. Green on the year just came back off the 15-day IL after the groin strain. Not that we caused, but he did get hurt in the last time he had to start when we were on the pregame show. So big night for Hunter Greene. See if he can stay healthy with our curse on the show. Finally got a win that night after we hadn't had a win all year being on the pregame
Sacrifice.
show. At what cost, Green on the year, 4-2, 2.54 ERA. Only went 4 innings in his last start. Obviously, coming off the IL and had some really grinding ABs, especially in his last inning. Threw 83 pitches in just 4 innings. Gave up 2 earned on 3 hits. One of those was a homer, and he gave up 2 walks. Oddly enough, Hunter Greene has never faced the Kansas City Royals in his career. It's a short career, but he's never faced them. What are you looking for from Hunter tonight?
Yeah, when I was, doing the Royals lineup, I was looking at matchups, and that was a pretty quick search because none of them have ever faced Green. The only guy who's really seen him is India, and that's just because he was behind him for, a few years. But yeah, I think tonight is just an opportunity for Green to get back on track. He hasn't really gone deep into a game in like a month, and that's just because, his last start was cut short early, and then the brave start he got hurt. So I think looking for Green tonight to get pretty deep into this game like Martinez and Singer did yet last night. So I think that should be the goal for Hunter to get this bullpen as little amount of work as they need to do and as we need to watch them. So if Hunter Greene can give them 7 innings, I think that'd be perfect.
Yeah, I'm looking for 6+, honestly, and I really think if he comes out first time through the order and he's pitch efficient and is able to limit walks, get some quick ABs, and he looks dominant out there, just let him go. That's kind of the way that I look at it. Is obviously you want to be cautious with him. I think he's under team control until the end of 28, and you want a guy that you're paying a lot of money to, and who, for my money, is the second best or best pitcher in the National League. I want him on the bump every 5 days. So if he feels anything, obviously pull him. But I'm really looking for them to just let him go and see how far he can get into this thing if he comes out and he feels good on a nice night in Kansas City and he's dominant against this lineup, which isn't that threatening, I might add. just let him go. For the India factor, I think it's definitely important that he's in the lineup for the Royals. Obviously, that he has the familiarity with Hunter Greene, but he's definitely faced him in live ABs before in spring. Has probably faced him even maybe in live ABs during the season. So he's got the information on Hunter Greene, but this year's Hunter Greene is different than the one that India played with. I mean, this guy has just dominated all year long outside of that one start in Baltimore. He's been great, and I'm really looking for them to just let him go tonight.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if there is some kind of limit to him. I don't expect there to be. I'm curious if he didn't have that long inning against the Cubs, if his pitch limit would have been higher, but he just had to work so hard in that fourth inning to get out of it. So I think that'll be interesting to see how Terry Francona manages that. I will go over to the Kansas City Royal starter now. Their starter is lefty Noah Cameron. This is his fourth career start. He has an ERA of under 1 in his first 3 starts. He throws 5 pitches, and he's mixed them up pretty well. He's thrown them all over at least 10% of the time with a fastball over 30% of the time, and that fastball sits around 91, 92. And hitters are only 136 against this pitch, and then mixes in a changeup, slider, cutter, and curveball as well. And one interesting note about him is obviously tonight is the lineup against lefties. He hasn't allowed a hit this year against left-handed batters. They are 0 for 16 with 1 walk. And the only lefty in the lineup tonight, I believe, is Fredel. So won't have to face many left-on-left matchups, but I found that to be interesting.
Yeah, I find that interesting as well. I mean, this was a guy that was primarily a reliever in 2024. I don't know exactly how great he was. I didn't dive too deep into him, but he's gone 5 innings plus, or I believe in every start. He has had some issue with walks. His first start of the year, he walked 5 and only struck out 3. But with Friedel at the top of the lineup, swinging the bat the way he does and his career success against lefties, I don't put too much stock into it. Again, 0 for 16 against left-handed batters this year is Cameron. But with the way that TJ Friedel's swinging the bat, I mean, you put prime Chris Sale on the mound, and I think Friedel's got a pretty good shot of hitting the ball against him right now. So I don't put too much stock into it. Here's the lineup Cameron will face. You see it on your screen. Friedel in center. Santiago Espinal, who I'll apologize, I've been calling him Slappy-Iago Espinal for weeks, but did make some things happen and let the Reds play add-on last night, which I thought was huge. Elly De La Cruz in the 3 spot. Austin Hayes DHs today. He'll bat 4th. Tyler Stevenson bats 5th. Homers in back-to-back games for Ty Steeves. Spencer Steer batting 6th. He's starting to come around as well. Connor Joe in right field. Matt McLean after the day off back at second base. And Garrett Hampson in left. And obviously it's been a point of contention in our comment section at the moment with the corner outfielders the way they are. But personally, at the moment, for just to start the game against the left-handed pitcher, I don't hate it. If you can get this guy, up in the pitch count a little bit. Connor Joe is a solid hitter against lefties. Hampson is what he is. I can understand putting him in left with the big outfield, and you want to give Hayes a day off his feet outside of being in the batter's box. I don't hate it. I definitely think there are better options such as Reese Hines in the minor leagues, but Reese Hines isn't on the roster right now. So I don't hate it. I definitely think there's the opportunity that you're going to see Will Benson and Gavin Lux come off the bench for Joe and for Hampson when a right-hander eventually comes into the game, because I believe they are out of left-handed options that haven't pitched in this series. So something to keep an eye on, right-handed relievers out of the bullpen for Kansas City. What do you think about the lineup tonight and just your overall thoughts on the corner outfield spots?
I think the only way that Garrett Hampson is in the game in the 9th inning is if they're up by a lot. I think it's pretty clear that tonight with, not many lefties in their bullpen, if any, that, Benson or Luck, someone's going to get in that bat off the bench. But I guess we could have said that last week for Espinal. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I don't have an issue with Hampson starting in left field. If he's here, you might as well play him. He's got a lot of speed. He's lost a little bit of speed this year, according to Baseball Savant, but he's still an athletic outfielder, so I don't mind having the defense out there giving Hayes a day. Hayes is fine. I think they're just kind of managing him. He's always had injury issues, so there's no reason to throw him out there in that big outfield and the lineup against the lefty. I like the 4-5-6 of Hayes, Stevenson, and Steer. All those guys are swinging it pretty well, especially against lefties. They all can hit them well. I haven't minded the Connor Joe experience so far. I think he's been, a pretty solid addition. That was a free agent this offseason that some people were like, maybe the Reds will give him a shot. But think we got him from San Diego. But yeah, no real issues with the lineup tonight. I do think we see Benson and Lux at some point.
Yeah, and for all the flack that we give Tito for hitting Santiago Espinal in the 2-hole against left-handed pitchers, he does make great contact, and he did make things happen and rebounded from that double play that he grounded into in the 5th last night. Even though it felt like it was so big for the Reds, obviously he scored 6+ and I believe 5 straight now. But you have the bases loaded, 1 out in the 5th. You have Santiago Espinal, who, regardless of what you think, Terry Francona believes he's the best situational hitter that they have in the order. I don't believe that, but he grounds into the inning-ending double play. I go crazy. I was pissed, to be completely honest with you. But later in the game, weak contact, but he forces the Royals to make a play. They're unable to do so. The Reds add a run, and then he doubles down the line. I believe that was in the 8th or the 9th. I think it was the 9th, but I can't quite remember. And they're able to save Pagan because it's not a 4-run game, and you're able to put Jabot in because Tito likes to throw his closer, even if it's a 4-run game, non-save situation. So Espinal in the 2-hole, and especially against the lefty, I don't mind. Ellie, I'm for dropping him in the order. I don't know what you think. Against the left-handed pitcher, obviously against right-handed pitching, I mean, this guy is an all-world hitter, but he's against lefties. It's been a struggle this year. I'm interested to see what you think about that option.
Yeah, it's just tough because I don't think Tito would do that. I don't think he would, hit him 6th against lefties, and then against righties, he's back up to 3rd. So I don't think that is something that is even really on the table. I think that's something that should be considered, though, especially swapping like Cruz and Stevenson, just moving him down 2 spots, I think would be nice. But eventually, normally a righty is going to come in at some point, and you want Ellie at the top of the order to get those at bats. So I don't hate it that much. But I do wonder, we haven't seen Austin Wins in a while. I'm just curious your take on this 3-catcher thing that's still going on. Do you think that's something that needs to change? Or are you okay with, that flexibility of having a 3rd catcher on the bench?
Yeah, so I actually put some thought into this morning. I like Austin Wins. I think he was a huge portion of this team when things could have went really south. He heated up at a time when the Reds really needed. It was for what the Orioles are now. It's still big to beat them in Baltimore, and he had a fantastic game out there. Had a fantastic series, really, and then he gets the offense back on the right track in the Miami series when they could have been swept by the Marlins on that Wednesday day game. And, he hits a home run and had a couple of hits and was really able to kind of, spark the offense from the bottom of the lineup. But I think if you're not going to play him every day, and this is a guy who's had success this year, why not try and maybe move him is the way that I think. Trevino's, he's been awesome. Tyler Stevenson, he's your catcher of the future. Why are we carrying a 3rd catcher if those are obviously 1 and 2 in the mind of, the guys in the dugout, the guys in the front office? That's unbeknownst to me when you could have, Reese Hines on this roster to kind of help with these corner outfield spots. But it's to the point where you either do something or you don't, because I don't think you're necessarily benefiting him or yourself with him just rotting on the bench.
I was looking at MLB trade rumors today and just looking at transactions throughout the league, and I forget what team, but the Rays, they acquired Matt Tice. He's a catcher from the White Sox, and he's gonna and they DFA'd another one of their catchers. And I'm just sitting here thinking like Austin Wins is better than Matt Tice. Even if I mean you're not going to get anything substantial back, but it's better than DFAing him and just losing him for nothing. So I wouldn't mind at this point just trading him for maybe like a flyer reliever or even like cash considerations. Like I think that spot can be better used for a guy like Reese Hines, but we'll see. We'll see what they do. I'll go ahead into the Royals lineup that is leading off with Jonathan India, who's playing second tonight. This is only his sixth start of the year at second, which I found very interesting. Imagine saying that 2 years ago when he was unwilling to move from second base, unwilling to play third or play left, and all of a sudden he's willing, which is interesting. Bobby Witt at shortstop, Vinny Pasquantino at first, hitting third, then Sal Perez, future Hall of Famer, at catcher, in my opinion. Michael Garcia DHing, Drew Waters in center, hitting sixth, and then 789 Nick Lofton at third, John Rave in right, who's looking for his first major league hit, and Darion Blanco in left, who's one of the fastest players in the league. So we were talking about it before the show, but the only real concern here are these, 2, 3, 4 hitters. India doesn't really concern me, and they're 5 through 9 just isn't. There's just not much pop going through this lineup as you look up and down.
Yeah, I think the main point for me in this lineup is the 2 and 3 hitters. Obviously, if you're a baseball fan, Hunter Greene, one of the best pitchers in baseball, Bobby Witt. I mean, I still think he's got a shot to win MVP. If Judge cools off or Witt heats up, either way. I mean, this is such a big matchup that it doesn't feel like it's it doesn't feel like it shouldn't be on national TV or something like that. Obviously, Reds and Royals, 2 500 ball clubs, wouldn't garner national attention most of the time, but I feel like Hunter Greene versus Bobby Witt is appointment television. And to be honest, the same thing with Vinny Pasquantino. I mean, this is a guy who got a lot of media coverage during spring training. He's got a great personality, good ambassador for the game. He's a hell of a baseball player as well, outside of that. And really good hitter against right-handed pitching, about 270 this year, OPS is 780. 2 and 3 are the keys to this lineup, definitely for Hunter Greene tonight. Salvador Perez is what he is. I think he's a future Hall of Famer as well, former World Series MVP, and he's a phenomenal baseball player. And I definitely think 2 through 4 is the spot for Hunter Greene to be able to find a way to get deep into this game. But don't sleep on Garcia in the 5 spot either.
Yeah, the lineup, I mean, there's some guys in it that can make an impact. Former top prospects. Drew Waters was a high-rated prospect, I believe, in the Braves organization at one point. But yeah, I thought there was a chance this series that we could see Jack Caglione down there in the Royals farm system. He was our top pick this past year, who's hitting homers just every day, it seems like. But it seems like the Reds will miss him. So yeah, I'm happy that um, we're kind of avoiding the Jack Caglione call up, so he doesn't kill us in his first series.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I mean, that guy, I think he's homered in 5 or 6 straight now for him. And I mean, he can hit the ball. For all we say about Kauffman Stadium, that there are walls, and the balls do go over those walls. The Reds have 4 homers in this series. Caglione has Ellie De La Cruz type power, maybe better. This guy hit a ball, I think, 515 feet at Florida last year. That's not you don't see that every day. You don't see that every day. So definitely glad the Reds missed him this week. But yeah, outside of my eyes on Pasquantino and Witt, don't have too much out of this Royals lineup that actually misses, or excuse me, not misses. They average 3.3 runs a game. That is 28th in the big leagues. So for all the conversation about the Reds offense and how abysmal it is at times, the Royals are dealing with the same thing too, with the generational talent at shortstop. So it's not just us. So it's nice to see that not just happening in the Queen City. But we'll go ahead and get into the bullpen usage, and shout out to Brady Singer. I think that you have everybody tonight. Looking at the bullpen, Ashcraft hadn't thrown in a couple of days. That's pretty pretty much it. You haven't seen too many guys. Santillan, I believe, is thrown in back-to-back, but Tony Santillan's a workhorse out of the bullpen, former starter, and I think he still leads Major League Baseballers in the top of the leaderboards in, appearances this season. So the one question I did have for the bullpen, are you putting any stock in Emilio Pagan looking like Ricky Karcher on Monday night? Or Monday afternoon? Do you have any stock in that?
I think closer, it's becoming a hole on this team. Pagan has really struggled lately. Seems like you never really know what you're going to get from him. And if it's not Pagan, then, 2 weeks ago, I'd be like, yeah, let's give Santillan or Ashcraft a shot. And they've also sucked. So it was nice to see Santillan last night throw the ball pretty well in his inning. But yeah, I don't feel comfortable in the ninth right now unless we have, a few runs. We're a few runs ahead of the other team.
Yeah, I feel the same way. But me personally, at the moment, I'm still, Pagan's coming into the game. Let's lock this down. But I'm gonna put the Ricky Karcher thing for Pagan on Monday as a one-off. Obviously, it's horrible weather in Kansas City. It was whole game. It was muddy. Nick Martinez somehow found his way through it. Not so much for the guys in that baby blue, but nonetheless, I definitely think Pagan is going to be able to, right the ship. He's been there for us when we've needed him for about 90% of his opportunities this year. Definitely think you need him. I would say the first guy out of the pen for me tonight would be Luis May. Hadn't thrown in a couple of days, gave him 2 days off. If Greene's able to get you 6 innings and, you feel comfortable trotting out another flamethrower out of the bullpen, which in my mind you always should because the guy throws 103-mile-an-hour sinkers at your face. So why not? Why not Luis May out of the bullpen first tonight?
Yeah, I do think May is an option at some point. I think they'll kind of go to Ashcraft early if that happens to try and get a sweep with the day off tomorrow. I think that we could see an aggressive Tito with the pen tonight. But I want to step back a little bit to something real quick because I was just thinking. So Jake Fraley, I think, was doing 4 rehab games, right? So he could be up Friday, correct?
I
I'm
believe so,
that right.
yes.
What do you think the move is there? Do you think they send down Benson, or do you think they dump the Hampson, or do you think that's the Wins move?
I definitely think that's the Wins move, if I had to guess. Yeah. And I believe Wins, something's funky in his contract. I don't know about the options and everything. I didn't go to law school or anything like that, so I'm not going to read it. But I definitely think that's the Wins move. If they send down Will Benson at this point in time, who, by the way, the Reds, I believe, are 9-4 with him in the starting lineup.
Yeah, Reds and 4 put out a tweet earlier that was pretty eye-opening of how much of a difference he makes when he is in the lineup.
Yeah, he's a leader of men, is the way that I look at it. I don't care. Will Benson he might be the greatest vibes guy in the history of Major League Baseball because with him in the starting lineup, the Reds are in his career, I believe, 111-90. I'm not a math guy, but that's pretty damn good. Is the way that I look at it.
Yeah, I'm really hoping they don't touch Benson, and CES will be up eventually. We'll see if they actually call him up or they just kind of leave him down there. But that was just sorry to sidetrack you. That was just a random thought I had that I felt like we needed to address before Friday.
No, it's all good. I completely understand it. I hadn't even thought about it. So I prefer not to think about Jake Fraley most of the time. But if they send Benson down, I might have to make a guest appearance on the show on Friday. I believe that's with Mike and Ricky. I might jump on here and just lose it for a little bit. But no, I definitely think that's the Wins move. Getting close to wrapping up here. Weather tonight in Kansas City, it's in the high 60s, partly cloudy. Look around the National League Central. The Reds are 6.5 back in the division, but only 3.5 back of the St. Louis Cardinals in the wild card. Look around the National League Central. Cubs looking for a sweep of the Rockies. The Pirates and the D-backs were underway. The last I looked was the 4th inning, and the Pirates were up 1-0. The Pirates actually going for the win in that series after coming back down 6-1 tonight. Cardinals and the Orioles play later tonight. I believe that's actually started at 6:35. And the Brewers, a second straight walk-off win over the Red Sox, who have stumbled in the early part of this season. There were a lot of high hopes for the guys in Boston prior to the year, hadn't come around. But that is your NL Central update. Do you have any predictions tonight, Mr. Alfonso?
Garrett Hampson bunt hit and a Connor Joe double.
Connor Joe double. I'm all here for Connor Joe double.
All right.
Looking at it, I'm here for Ellie to grab a couple of hits tonight, against the lefty. I definitely think he's due against the left-handed pitcher. I don't remember the last time he had an extra base hit against one. Might have been the homer in Baltimore, to be honest. See the Reds winning this one 6-3. Think the streak of good offensive play continues. That means we're breaking out the brooms on random Skyline Nacho helmet day. And the Reds are going to sweep the Kansas City Royals and head into Chicago with some momentum. We'll go ahead and we'll get out of here for the day. Reminder about the post-game show. Trace and Nick will be live in the 9th, hopefully in a good mood because the Reds are in a position to where they can win this game and pick up a big sweep of the Royals. Max, I want to thank you for being on. Appreciate it. Thank everybody in the chat. Be sure to like the stream. And again, tune into the post-game show. I'm going to take this helmet off because I've been holding my head still for a long time so that doesn't fall off. So appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.